ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Hey, oh, da. Hey, Instagram, it's me, T. See, there's a T here. There's a cross thing there and a thing like that. And I'm from the Patterson. There's the Patterson housing projects in the Mount Haven section of the Bronx. And I'm taking a train to Tibet. T from the Pattersons taking the train to Tibet. That's actually a short. It's a short version of a long. It was a long poem. I have the poem someplace. When I get back to when I get to Virginia, I'm gonna find the whole poem. It derives from this whole thing. It's a long thing, but really it is. It's like actually from T from the Pattersons. C from the Pattersons. Something about the Lower East Side taking the train to Tibet. No, T from the Patterson living on the upper Lower East Side taking the train to Tibet, meaning that the upper meaning like the north, lower the south, east meaning east is that way there, but I'm doing east like that so you can see east like the east because the east like far east something like that side. And I'm talking globally now. So I left out the West. I did that on purpose, right? Now remember, T from the Patterson, the projects, the lower or whatever, taking the train to Tibet. Now the train, of course, there's no train that goes straight from the Patterson projects to Tibet. There might be in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'm a prophet. Maybe I foresee, visualize the he like that. But Tibet, in my mind, being the highest, one of the highest places on the planet, at least, and spiritually, like a high spiritual thing. So I come from the lowest depths, and I'm acknowledging the east and the south, and I'm going to the north, and I'm going to the highest heights. Now you got to ask yourself, what does that mean? I mean, just what it said, you know. So obviously, I guess it goes up around for me being announced also because, you know, how are you going to go to the highest heights? Well, it's just a goal. You're supposed to go towards your goal, right? And like, it also gives me an unattainable, unattainable, I do this all the time. I try to take the most difficult path possible. That's my modus operandi. No path to where, brother? Well, you know, to my ultimate, to my purpose. I got purpose in life. And here's the interesting thing. For the last 2 years, I really focused on it. I've named it everything. Like, for instance, my purpose is ultimate liberation. That's what that's what I'm on the planet for. And everything that affects me, it's like me being who I am. It's to be that lone warrior, you know, that's going towards ultimate liberation. And nothing can deter me. Nothing can stop me. I'm smiling because I sort of like the journey. Right? But, you know, and if the goal is ultimate liberation, that's attainable, right? My problem, as usual, I try to take the most difficult way possible. I can't tell you. If I see something happening, I'm like, how can I change? Like, I guess it's like an entertainment thing. How can I entertain the prospect of taking the most difficult road? Because if I'm going to go down this road, it's not that I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be interesting. My interests are that of, I'm born in a year of tiger, so think of a tiger going through a jungle like that, you know, this and that, gotta check this and that, what, see? Okay. Let's leave that alone. But, hey, wait a second, one more thing, one other thing that I'm interested in. I think, of course, I have no evidence of this because I ain't lived no other time period, I love this word too, no other epoch. E-P-O-C-H, epoch. Epoch is like era, you know, time period. Epoch. There's certain words I like. I've been using it a lot. Like for instance, I like the term knee. N-E-E with the apostrophe over the last E. Knee. It means like your maiden name. You know, the before you was you before. The before, something like that. I look at it like that. I just like writing that down. And things, a lot of stuff that I do, like I'll even say, I don't say "me" a lot. I don't actually say it, right? But I like writing. So I finally got a lighter here, because I had to light the incense. And there it is. The ideas that I get, they just sort of come to me. I don't be looking for stuff. You see what I'm saying? I don't be looking. It just happens. Things stumble my way, and it's my job to recognize the not the whole crux. With those games where you have the tokens that are shiny, and then you got to pick up that token, and you get more energy to keep on going, to persevere. I like that idea. And this epoch gives you this thing, So here I am. I have a ultimate liberation be my goal, right? My reason for living. Because I'm born to a situation where I'm going like, this is ridiculous. I came down and said, oh, this is absurd. People are doing this, people are doing that, other people are trying to do this to them, other people are trying to do that to those other people. What's going on here? Now, here's the question. You can have that goal of ultimate liberation. But what's the vector? The vector? I think that's the word. That's the thing. I like to use my grandmother, my sainted grandmother, bless her eternal soul. Sometimes she'd be making up words. Really, she'd just be making up words. It sounds good. Well, let's say, it's like, I guess it wasn't our language, but actually, the word be close, right? Enough for you to communicate and understand what it is. We say, that doesn't sound right. But in a way, it's right. Even when like the headline, like the Dickie Giovanni poem, bless her eternal soul. Like that poem, like Hannibal, Hannibal gave her, her son gave her an elephant to my Hannibal, and she went and conquered a nation, right? And then there's a line that I used back on there one time. Even my mistakes are like that. And that's the other thing. I think one of the reasons why I make it as most difficult as possible for me to achieve something, because not only do I like the Horcruxes on the way, not the Horcrux, the tokens on the way. I know it's going to sound bad. I love mistakes. I can't. Sometimes I believe maybe it's unconscious. Sometimes I believe I make mistakes on purpose, or it'd be so difficult to say, how are you going to get, this is the biggest mistake, how are you going to get out there then? But here's the thing, not only am I not afraid to make mistakes, but but I know how to repent. No, we say, well, repent, that you get all religious, right? No. Repent just means turn around. Let me explain, right? I had a Jesus moment one time in my life. Jesus! Oh, okay, I'm in India, but I live in Africa, so I had a Horus moment once in my life, right? In case you're wondering, this is a Saturday, so it ain't anything that comes to my head. Things are just coming to my head now, so I'm just talking to you. I ain't gonna be long. I tell the story a lot. One year, when what the heck happened? Oh, I had left my job, and I had planned to take this trip, right? I left my job, right? And finally, this was 1996. Yes, this was 96. I left my job. And so I had planned to go to Mexico, right? And I was going to work my way down Mexico, down, what do you call that? Central America, get to Venezuela, and finally someplace over in the east side of South America, right? Maybe not. I don't even know if I want to go all the way down to Brazil. Something like that, and catch a boat over to Africa, to Namibia, right? I'd written a play about. I had this thing for Namibia, not South. That's not the point. That was the plan. That was the ultimate plan, right? So I get to, and I had started. It was during Easter one year. Easter, like Lent. Lent where you do your, I ain't gonna do this. Whatever you do some Catholic church. I grew up Catholic, but I wasn't Catholic at the time. I'm just saying, I just don't mind about it. So I'm here in Mexico. I get to Mexico. Hey, hey, so far so good, right? And I end up, to make it a long story, a bit shorter, I ended up meeting this woman. Let's just put it that way. It was strange how we met. I was with this. I was crashing at this guy's house. He was supposed to be away. He wasn't where I came, but he was there boinking some woman. I had to go. So I went to naturally with something like that happened. I had to waste some time to come back. Give him enough time, a lot of time, right? So I went and I was trying to go to the movies. In fact, the movie was Casino in Mexico. I mean, Casino was the name of the movie. The Pesci, Scorsese, De Niro movie, right? But it was sold out. Or somehow it was something strange. Sold out or whatever it was, right? So I ended up going someplace else. Just walk around, not close to air, but going someplace else down in Mexico. Now I had been to Mexico many a time, but I didn't know about Zona Rosa. Zona Rosa, the pink zone, the flowers, whatever. It's the tourist zone. I didn't know that. I've been to Mexico like 5 or 6 times by that time. I mean, I just never been. Well, I've been to Mexico City. It doesn't matter. Point is, so I get down there, and there's a Tower Records. I go like, oh, I can waste some time listening to records, because in the Tower you can listen to things like that. Okay. I went there, and I even saw in Patak they even had a CD of João Grande. Capoeira. My Capoeira master had a CD out. The Capoeira songs, stuff like that. So they even had that there. They had this section, had that there. So I was in the house section. I was listening to house music. Hey, man, I was having a good time, right? And out of the corner of my eye, I should say this before I start. So because I was doing Lent, I also was fasting. A limited fast. I was building up to a fast, about a limited fast. And out of the corner of my eye, I see these, these buttocks moving past. This was like African buttocks, black buttock. That way, Mexico. Now, Mexicans don't have buttocks like that, right? So I caught my eye, and for some reason I see a black skin. Oh, so I look a little closer, short afro. I'm going like, whoa. Okay, it was an honest question. I shouldn't have veered off to the buttock thing. The honest question is like, because I ain't seen no sister. Said, my brother says, what's the sister doing in Africa? What's the sister doing in Mexico? Mexico City. What's going to do sister in Mexico? Now look, you have to understand this about me. I come from they say old school, but I come from ancient school. Now we not like it's just the era where we didn't be go grabbing on women and first thing hey, put your number in my phone, or there wasn't cell phones. Cell phones were just starting back then. All this crass stuff that people do these days. We wasn't doing all that stuff. Right? You had to have game. You really had to rap. So I said in my brain, well, if she comes close to over here, I'll ask her, what's her sister doing in Mexico? That good question, right? I mean, obvious question. In fact, it was an honest question. It wasn't a line or something like that. And sure enough, I should have known them. She came close. Come on. She must have said out of her brain, she must have said, what's her brother doing in Mexico? I think. Yeah, and at the time I had my locks. Oh. I had locks. Locks. And Rondi Miller had made them really. You might as well call them fashion locks. There wasn't a term for the fashion lock, because she came from a long line of locticians. Her mother was a beautician, whatever. She was like that, and I had that in my own locks. I was at that's when we was doing the for WBAI. We was doing the craft fair, and I was like overnight security. So over the weekend, so on a Friday, I did one section. Saturday, I did the other section. It came out pretty good. I did my own locks. At some particular point, anyway, Ronnie saw the locks. She said, oh, "You could do. We got to do something better than that." So she did my locks, and then I just kept on maintaining them. Okay, that's not the point. So she comes close to me. So I said, so I asked the honest question, what's the sister doing in Mexico? And she said, well, you know, they eat, banking, anyway, now I'm going to skip. So I had my own agenda. I mean, I had things I had to do. I know I had some friends, and they were supposed to make this trip. Anyway, so I spent time with her, right? And in the middle, but very big, like a week later, something like that. And there's this trip I was supposed to take with this group of people. They take it every year, and what it is, you start from the desert, certain part of the desert. You go up this riverbed, you know, this dried up riverbed, all the way to the high point, right? And then from that high point, you know, hey mosaics, I'm like my grandmother, man. How you doing? I'm going to be short, but I'm talking about this Horace moment I had. Okay, I'm sorry, if you're a Christian. That's in Mexico. It was during I'm saying I had a Jesus moment. This is it. We're coming to the crux of it now. You came at a good time. So let me way back so you came at a good time. So, and what it is, you at this thing, you look for peyote. Peyote is this little cactus flower, and if you take it, you hallucinate. So anyway, and then you go up this riverbed, get to this mountaintop, and then and you look over and you can see a desert for miles, just miles and miles of desert, spectacular, up the highest peak there like that, you know, taking trains to bed, high speed, you're all the way up there, right? That's the trip. I didn't know about that. They explained it to me, right? And of course, on this trip, as per usually a lot, especially when I was traveling back then, I'd be the only black person, the only highly melanated person, you know, in the area, right? Anyway, the point is, so he's looking for the peyote. Now, anyway, so I didn't find any, but people found the peyote there, right? So we had a little encampment before we go up the thing, guy gives instructions and stuff like that. And so everybody's sharing their peyote. So they give me some peyote because, everybody's supposed to, take the trip, literally take the trip up the thing like that. Now, I never had peyote before. I'm not really a big altered state guy. I mean, when I was younger, I did the whole time. I used to drink I.W. Harper 100, Smirnoff 101, or whatever it was like that. Those were my drinks. I wasn't really doing. I did marijuana, but there was it's like everybody. Well, whatever. I'll tell you about a marijuana story some other time. But no heroin. Even though I grew up in the Patterson, but heroin, none of the cocaine, none of that stuff. Right? Didn't do any of that stuff. Right? But I was not adverse to trying stuff. I tried something one time, but whatever. So I took the peyote. Now, unbeknownst to me, what happens when you first take peyote, a lot of people, it tastes like quinine. A lot of people throw up. Well, most people throw up. Well, I didn't throw up. And people were looking at me. Actually, they were waiting for me to throw up. Well, I didn't throw up. Right. Here's my theory. Let me tell you. Here's my theory. I have been fasting. So like any medicine, this is a medicine. Like any medicine, you're supposed to take it on an empty stomach or first thing or whatever, right? And I have been fasting, so I think my body, it's just how, I prepare, even if I know I'm not preparing, I'm preparing for things. Like I'm preparing for, September for the reparations conference, right? All kinds of preparation I have to do. I do my audio dramas. I'm a preparer, right? Stage manager, you prepare, right? So I start. He said something very, very interesting. This cat said something, and they took your stuff and someplace else to get to the base camp that they're going to have up there, right? So all I had was my beer and barrel, and I think a satchel. I think I had my beer and barrel and something else. That's all I was carrying, right? My beer and barrel, my capoeira. I had my beer and barrel in a sack, a special made sack that somebody made for it. Somebody sold it for me, right? Okay. So I start walking, and sure enough, the rocks, because you're in a riverbed, the rocks started changing colors and stuff like that. But I wasn't like tripping, not changing colors. As it is, see, what happens is and we had some autochthonous people did walk by, so you'll say indigenous people did walk by, and they were doing going up there too. And how you supposed to do this peyote thing is when you take it, it's supposed to give you enough whatever to go to take this long hike. You know what I mean? Well, oh, the other thing the guy said right before we left, there's a lot of us, maybe about 40 people, right? He said, look, even if you walk behind somebody and you walk to the exact step, you're going to have a different experience. I don't think he's really talking about the peyote, just got a different thing, because you just can't do it. So I'm walking, and in the line, you're walking, you're talking to people. I didn't really know anybody, so I'm a loner anyway. So this line kept on stretching out, and I I got separated from the group. Well, the group got separated from the group. The group separation happened along the way because it was a long walk, and I went this way, and all of a sudden, no group. I'm alone. So I said, I'll keep on going. Why? Because in the American Indian thing, astrology, I'm a woodpecker, tenacious. Deep, 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 deep. Don't give up. I'm the kind of guy to go down with the ship, that kind of thing. So I kept on walking. I came to this point. I'm talking about hours. Now I was walking for hours. Yeah, it was hours. And I came to it was like this. I could see to go over this other side. It was a long way, like I say, a whole football field. There was like a little precipice. It was a precipice down there, but there was like a path. It wasn't a path. It was a path in the mountains, whatever it is. Maybe it was around this wide. Okay, wide as my shoulders. Yeah, let's say it's wide as my shoulders, like that. So I started walking further, and then I'm going like, wait a second, because on either side was like a 50-foot drop on either side. I'm gonna say, wait a second. Yeah, repent. I didn't say repent. I got to turn around. This don't make no sense. So I carefully turned around and walk back. Now, remember, I was lost. I was losing energy. They had given me I had a grapefruit. It's the only thing I had. And here's the thing. So think of that as me wandering in the wilderness. I know it wasn't 40 days and 40 nights, but let's say it was 4 hours. Got a 4 in there. So I hear a donkey braying over there. I said, nah, I ain't going that way. But then say a breeze would come by with a pleasant smell. So I go that way. You see? Reading the signs along the way. Then finally I got to a point where I just couldn't walk no more. My legs were cramped. Oh man, was cramping. So I said, all right, that's right, I got the grapefruit. So I sat on this rock and I started peeling the grapefruit, ready to eat it. And this guy comes by with some goats. I've told the story before, but I like telling the story. A guy came by on a donkey with some goats, and there was a dog at the back of the pack, right? So he's walking around. Now, okay, it was one of the first times. Well, I don't speak a whole life. I don't speak Spanish. Well, I can communicate when I need it, whatever, right? So I stood, and I was exhausted, and the best Spanish I can muster is that, say, mi amigo, ¿dónde es? No, say, señor, ¿dónde es mi amigo? Where are my friends, right? And he sort of pointed at over a certain way, right? Which was the way I was going anyway. And then he signaled for me to get on the back of his donkey, right? I was too exhausted to get on this boy's donkey. I was way too exhausted. I said, if it's right over there, I'll go that way. And I started eating that grapefruit to give me that energy. Because I was like, I'm going to fall out, right? And the dog, I remember they go past and the dog sort of trots up to him. He looks at me, gave me this look. It looked like, oh, poor baby. I know what it's like, it's just the way it is, In fact, if it was, normally I might even take your grapefruit. I know I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm going to let you slide this time. But you'll make it. You'll be all right. Then he trots off. Then when I finished, I got my energy back. I went, and that's where my people were. That was my Horus moment. My Jesus in the 40 days and 40 nights, 4 hours in the desert. So you have these little things, and I'm telling you this because of these signals that you get. You signal and you have to be attuned to the signals that Horus, that the Great Spirit is giving you, that Jesus sending your way, right? And if you listen, if you're attuned and you stop being fogged by fogged by things that people who want you to not be on your path are putting in your way. Uh, the trinkets that they dangle you away, the whatever, the laws that they make. But there's only one law of the universe. The Great Spirit done gave you the law of the universe, so follow that law. Anyway, I can keep on going. You get the gist of it, okay? Okay, it's a Saturday, and this was like whatever comes to my head day, and then tomorrow's a Sunday, so no, that's later on tonight. I'm sorry, I keep on. This is the Grand Rising Report. It's a Grand Rising Report. The sun done came up, so enjoy your day, and tonight, we'll make another posting, and we do it that way. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.